All right, folks, here we are for another session of Off the Grid. I wanted to welcome my next guest. He is a dope MC who calls New York home. Wanted to welcome Tommy Danger to the show. Thank you, brother, for giving me some time on your weekend to do this. How are you?
Man, thank you so much for having me on your platform. I feel amazing.
All right, man. Hey, before we go into your amazing music, can we just talk about your background? Tell me where you were born. Tell me where exactly in New York you call home and how long you've been making music.
Yep. So, born in New York, born in Harlem, New York, born in Harlem Hospital. Um, I've been making music, I want to say, since the mid 2000s,
Okay.
but really didn't start getting traction till about 2018. Things started turning around. Um, but Harlem is home. East Coast is the foundation of my sound.
Yeah.
And I just started out doing mixtapes and things like that. And then things on social media just started to pick up.
Yeah, very cool, man. And so what was your first exposure to music, man? What were your parents playing in the household when you were growing up?
My first exposure, my that I can remember. So my dad used to spin records after work. So he would have his turntable set up, blend records and stuff. And I would say that he played a lot of James Brown
Okay.
and a lot of Barry White. You know, all on vinyl. That's what was spinning in my house as a child.
Yeah.
Um, but like the first rap record that really intrigued me was like there's a record called Veronica Veronica, and it was
Oh,
do you remember that record?
I don't, man. Can you school me on that?
So Veronica Veronica, I think is by the K Brothers, and it was
Okay.
just these guys doing a beatbox rhyming about this girl named Veronica Veronica.
Oh, dang.
And I was a teenager, and when I listen to the record now, it sounds absolutely horrible. But it was that record, but it was that record that I like I literally cried over that record. Like my sister boyfriend had it on vinyl, and I begged him for a copy of it to get it on cassette, and he was like, "Nah, you can't have this. This exclusive." And I was like, "Please give me a copy. Please give me a copy. I want a copy." And yeah, that was my first time that I fell in love with hip hop. So.
Yeah. Hey, and so eventually, then you got into a deeper listen of all the music, that was hip hop. And so, in your opinion, this is usually a hard question to answer. What were some fundamental albums that were key in the development of you as an MC? Any favorites
Wow.
from back in the day?
Um, this is gonna sound strange. I would not say that there were any ones from back in the day that developed my sound. I
Okay.
think just being in high school, listening to the Chronic, listening to Wu Tang Clan, Into the 36 Chambers, listening to Nas, of course, Jay Z,
Yeah.
of course, Tribe Called Quest, Gangstar,
Yeah.
um, The Roots.
Yeah.
Um, but I wouldn't say that those really shaped my sound.
Okay.
Um, I would say that if I had to pick three records that has helped me develop my sound, without saying the albums, I would say artists in particular. It would definitely be um, Ghostface from Wu
Oh,
Tang.
nice.
It would be Tyler the Creator,
Oh, interesting.
and it would also be who I keep heavy in my playlist. I would say the Griselda catalog. You know,
Oh,
they have
okay.
helped to mold the sound that I have now, um, and it's always evolving. Like right now,
Yeah.
I have a project with a like an electronic jazz fusion producer from Germany. Which sounds
Nice.
totally different from what I normally do. So I like to experiment with different sounds and sort of challenge my flows and delivery so that you never know what I'm going to drop next. Like what I'm going to drop next, like nobody would ever think that I'm going to drop this type of record that I'm going to drop next.
Yeah.
Like me and Dom have some solid records together, you know,
Whew, whew. Yeah.
and like we have a formula that we've created. Um, but then we got something else that's totally left.
Yeah.
That's coming out, you know, because Dom stay in the kitchen cooking. So
Yeah, and you mentioned that, and I saw that in a post that you did that you don't like to be predictable. Like
mhm.
you love it when folks think that Tommy is about to do this kind of music next, and then you flip the script and surprise them and just show them your versatility. So I love that about you, man. Always
Thank you.
pushing the envelope, man. So that's good. Some people get comfortable and they want to stay with the same sound, but I love how you're not afraid to try something new.
Yeah, because you know I think that that's when it gets boring, and I don't think life itself is boring. So I don't want to bring my daily life into my artistic life. You know, we get up, we go to work, we come back home, we repeat that cycle over and over again.
Yeah,
Um, just because you know you find a particular sound that people may enjoy, and you may do it, you know, a couple times, but
yeah,
I wouldn't make that as the foundation to just keep like fast food, like getting it in and out. Like nah,
yeah.
nah. Uh-uh.
Hey, did you find yourself a what's the best way to say it? Were you a music snob in terms in the sense of yeah, I only like East Coast rap, or yeah, were you open to West Coast and down South type of rapping too? I heard when you mentioned the list of MCs that you mentioned, we got Dre from the West Coast. He was the only one from that bunch. But did you like all the different sounds from the different parts of the country?
Absolutely, I'm a
Nice.
huge Scarface fan.
Yeah.
I'm a huge Outcast fan. You know, I'm a huge Far Side fan.
Woo.
Um,
Yeah.
I'm a
I love it.
huge. Um, it was this dude from the West Coast. Oh man, I can't remember the guys' names, but it's some dope groups from the West Coast that just stayed heavy in the rotation of the music that I've listened to.
Very cool.
So no, I'm not just tied to the
Yeah.
East Coast snob like that. Like nah, if it sounds good, I'm rocking with it.
I love it, man. Yeah. Hey, and so outside of
Oh, I'm sorry.
rap,
Souls of Mischief. Souls of Mischief. That's who it was.
Souls of Mischief, hieroglyphics. Yeah, that's a good
Hmm.
one for sure. Hey, outside of rap music, do you mentioned that your dad used to play a lot of soul music, but do you have any other different favorite genres of music that you listen to today?
Classical music.
Okay, nice. Yeah,
Yeah.
R&B at all, man. I love rappers who know how to use singing and rapping in the same song, and I think you do that very well. So you a big
Thank
fan
you.
of R&B music too?
I am. I am. But I would still say like classical music would be like the music that I listen to more than anything else, just because it helps me stay in the space of it keeps me focused,
Okay,
right? So there's a station that I listen to online. It's called WQXR.
okay.
Um, yeah. Super, super. You know, Beethoven, Mozart type stuff that I listen
Uh-huh.
to.
Yeah.
People probably would never expect that, but exactly, you're not supposed to expect that, but that's what I listen to.
Yeah, I love it, man. Hey, well, one question I love to ask people on the show is, how did you come up with your MC name? Where did Tommy Danger come from, and can you tell me the backstory behind it?
Absolutely. Well, my name is Thomas, Thomas A. Vance Brown. My dad's name is also Thomas Brown,
All
and
right.
nickname was Tommy. So my nickname was Tommy. And I've been known to have at one point, a pretty volatile temper. So that's where danger came from.
All right.
Um, but in becoming more self-aware, I flipped that and into by being aware, you're even more dangerous because a person that has self-awareness can control a lot of things. And when that
Mm-hmm.
reaches other people,
Oh, I love it, man. Yeah, that always fascinates me, man. How the name comes about, and yeah, it's difficult too, man. And what fueled you to use Tommy Danger as your MC name? Was that your first name that? I mean, was that the
oh
first name that you used as an MC, or?
no, my first rap name was horrible. The first rap name was TSLO, the Superb Lyrical Organizer.
Oh, I love it. I
It
love
was
it,
such a
man.
fun. It was horrible. It was absolutely horrible.
Okay, what fueled the change then? What made you decide to leave that and go to Tommy Danger?
Um, just something that was more true to self and not trying to come up with an acronym to sound like extra cool or super lyrical. I didn't want to
Yeah,
use my full government name, even though I know that that's pretty popular. You
yeah,
know, Tommy is my name, and
yeah,
danger is just a part of my personality. So it
yeah. I
just
love it.
it stuck.
Yeah, yeah. It's got a cool sound to it. It's not trying too hard, and it's just yeah. I think it fits very well, man.
Thank you, thank
Oh,
you.
yeah, yeah. Hey, do you recall the moment that inspired you to pick up a pencil and start writing a verse? Like what
Absolutely.
made you do that? Yeah.
Disney World.
Ah, let's hear it.
It was a rap that I wrote about going to Disney World, and I just wanted to meet. I wanted to meet Mickey Mouse, so I wrote a rap about it. Zippity doo dah, zippity yay. It was like I'm imagining this wonderful place to stay. All of the beautiful things I see. It was Mickey and Goofy all around me. It was a stupid ass rhyme, but it worked.
Shit, man.
Yeah,
Oh man. Yeah. Hey, that's you find inspiration everywhere, man. So very cool. Hey, and so you mentioned, you're from New York, and New York is the reputation for having one of the toughest scenes in terms
yeah.
of trying to make it in the music business or just making music in general. How did you feel when you were coming up? When you were starting out as a rapper, was the community very accepting, or did you feel like, man, I had to get out there and earn my stripes? And how was it in your perspective?
You had to get out there and earn your stripes. Again, coming up with mixtapes, everybody was putting out mixtapes. Um, and my thing was just go to venues. How I really, really, really got my buzz going was that in addition to Tommy Danger, they also called me the Now Later Man, which is from the Now Later Candies, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So I used to love Now Later so much that I lost two teeth from eating so many. I used to eat like 6 packs a day.
Okay.
So in coming up with a marketing scheme, I used to get these clear backpacks and fill them up with Now and Laters. I would stand outside of clubs, and while people were waiting to get on the line inside of clubs, I would offer them a pack of Now and Laters in exchange for their email address. And I said, "Yo, I'm a rapper. I have a mixtape coming out. It's going to be on my website. If I give you this pack of Now and Laters, you give me my email address. I'll let you know when it drops." Like
Oh
80%
man.
of the people looked at me like I was crazy, but the 20% that did gravitate toward it, I think at one
Yep.
time I got close to like 9,000 email addresses, just
Man, you were out
hustling,
there.
being out there in the street. And then it was once I did get email addresses, I got physical copies of mixtapes, and I would just, it was sort of like a mixtape circuit. Like you could go through the
Yeah.
neighborhood, and there was certain stores that carried the mixtapes, and I would drop off like every month. And I started a series called A Now Later Man. So I had like
Oh.
Volume One, Tropical Punch. Volume Two, Apple Flavor. Volume Three, Grape
Uh-huh.
Flavor. Volume Four, Orange Flavor. And after a while, I remember I was in a restaurant, in a seafood restaurant, buying some food. And back then, bootleggers would walk around with backpacks like CDs, CDs, CDs. And a
Yeah.
dude came up to me and was like, "Yo, I got this new shit from Tommy Danger." He's like, "Check it out." And he's like, "Yo, this shit is hot right now." And I'm looking at him like, "Yo, how the fuck you get my shit and you trying to sell it to me?" Like, I was offended and honored at the same time. I'm like,
All
this
right.
shit is this
Right.
shit is wild. And then, I used to put my telephone number on the cover art. And then people used to call me, and then it was like, "Yo, I found this out in Queens, and I found it in Brooklyn." So it was one particular mixtape I put out. I want to say it's Volume 8, Pineapple Flavor, where I have this pineapple in my hand and I have a Rambo knife, and I'm shoving the pineapple over the Rambo knife, and I'm like looking crazy on the cover. And it was a freestyle on there that I had called "Getting Some Head," from Shauna, that track that Shauna did. So I did a
Okay.
freestyle to that, and that's the one that really like started making some waves. That was that moment that once I got bootlegged, it was sort of like, okay, things are starting to change.
Yeah, that's funny, man. It is flattering and insulting at the same time.
Yeah.
That's awesome story though, man. So with that, man, I just love, I went through your page and did a big study of your music, and I just love your insight into how you look at things, and I love how you take criticism. You don't take it too serious, right? You mentioned that you choose what you think, and you get the weeds out of your head, and it's up to you to use that criticism to do better or whatever, but you don't let it bother you. And
Right.
was that a long time in the making? The way that you are. You mentioned that you had kind of a hot temper, but it didn't seem like that when I was going through your page. So
You
what's the
know,
process to get that mind
it
state?
took it took a long time to reach this state that I'm at right now. It took a lot of
Yeah.
soul searching. It took a lot of self awareness. I'm big on personality assessments. So I
Okay.
study my personality like on a daily basis. I have what's called a flight assessment, which is similar to a disc assessment that tells you
Okay.
about how you interact with people, how you make decisions, what pace you work best at, and how you analyze things.
Yeah.
So in knowing myself, I can pretty much adapt to whatever situation I'm in or the people that I'm around. Because most of the time when you open up the internet, people gonna talk trash about you. I mean, it's
Yeah.
just what it is, right? But if you give it that energy, you're gonna give it more energy. You're gonna get more of that energy. But
Yeah.
I don't give it that energy, so I don't really get too many hecklers like that. So
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, your messaging is really good, man, and I think you said earlier, man. I think that's a great way to summarize what I feel about you is you're very self-aware, man, and then
thank you.
you're very good at storytelling and addressing some of the social issues that are going around in the world and just conveying it and spreading the word about it, man. So you said one thing too that really hit me hard was that you got to embrace the journey, and hey, you did a lot of sacrifice to get where you're at these days, and you're not a hater. You're happy to see others doing well, and when you see people doing getting to where they're at, it inspires you, motivates you to work hard. And so I just love your attitude overall, man.
Thank you.
I think,
Appreciate that.
yeah, yeah, I think you're a great role model for hip hop, man, and it's great,
Thank
man.
you. Thank you. Like I realized just recently, like I have quite a few artists that just reach out to me and they'll feel as if they want to give up, they don't want to do music anymore, they're not seeing streams, this and this.
Hmm.
And I just hit them with like, yo, do you love it or are you doing it for fame? And most of them
Yeah,
will say I'm doing it because I love it. But the few people that say, nah, I want to blow up and get paid, I'm like, well, there's a certain formula that you need to follow. If you want to do that, you
yeah,
got to do it, right? But if that's not what you in it for, stick with the part that you love because that's going to
yeah,
take you further. Because it's going to be many a times when you put out music and it's going to have crickets. Like this is just, or when you put out music, you have to push it to get it in front of people. Like I had to go in the street and hand the mixtapes
yeah,
to people. I still like spend my mornings pitching to playlists and to journalists
yeah.
and pushing my own playlists and going to publishing companies for placements and like these are things that I do on a daily basis. I don't wait for any opportunities to come to me. Like I search for the opportunities.
Yeah. Yeah, hey, that's a good point that you mentioned, man. So early on, when you were younger, you had to get there and grind, and it was you in person, man, trying to push your music to people. And so, man, and you're right, man. I remember just people not rejecting, but just not interested, right? And then,
Hmm.
but you got to find that motivation to keep going out there and pushing your music, man. And so. And so with that, now you mentioned now, hey, it's a little different now. You got to be smart at social media, and same thing. You're grinding out, but you're finding different websites to hit your stuff
Yep.
at. And how's that been? How do you like having to use social media, man? Is that important in today's game, and how important is that to you?
It's very important. It's the difference of me going in my neighborhood and standing on a crowded corner trying to hand out a flyer
Yeah.
versus a system where I can make a post that's
Yep.
and it's like in perpetuity now and it lives with people
Yeah.
forever, right? So I definitely use it to that advantage and where some people may look weird at the numbers. So like on my TikTok page, like let's say my average video only gets 200 views, but I
Okay.
post every day, right? So if we look at it like a job, and I'm posting every day. When you add up what I do in a year just from 200 views versus the person that posts once in a while, I'm still 100 times ahead of what they're doing because I'm getting
That's
20 to 50,000 views on my page. Then you
that's
multiply that times five, I'm over a million views. So it's like,
yeah. Dude, that's a great way to look at it, man. I never thought about it like that. So yeah, you
yeah,
volume, you still achieve that larger number, right? Like yeah, I mean, 200 is still a lot, but if you multiply that, like you mentioned, man, if you're posting more frequently, then you exponentially grow the number of views. That's interesting, man. And do you use all platforms?
everything,
Okay, yeah. Do you have a
everything.
favorite?
Yeah, yeah. I would say Twitter,
Oh man, all right.
Twitter. Just because you can sort of like give people to an insight of your brain, like unfiltered, like you just have a thought, you tweet it.
Yeah. Hey,
Yeah,
I like a lot of the behind the scene footage that you do for your videos too, man. And so that one too, I love. People want more than just the music now, and they like the visuals. So I love
right.
that you do videos, man.
Yeah, thank you. The last video that I did was with Ocho Visuals. That video shoot probably took about 4 hours
Okay.
in 20-degree weather in New York City.
Oh, dang.
My hands was numb. My hands was numb. My feet were numb. And Ocho is such a perfectionist that if I said the rhyme and 2 words was off in a bar, he stopped the camera and be like, "All right, look, do you know the song or you don't know the song?" He's like, "I can
Oh,
edit it
dang.
out. I can edit it out, but we have to do it right." So in that set alone, or just in shooting it, I probably recited it easily 100 to 150 times in the four
Oh
hours.
man, he's tough. Yeah.
Yeah, 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 yeah. But then when you get the end result, like again, that's
Yeah.
another piece of art that's gonna live forever. Like it's not gonna
Mhm.
expire, right? So now I have something that can go into the Museum of Modern Art and it's put up on a wall as my piece of art to society. You know what I mean? And it's
Yeah.
my best presentation. So that's the way I look at it.
Yeah. Hey, it's also one thing that struck me was that your dad started out as a DJ, and so sometimes naturally it'd be the same path you follow. Did you do any kind of DJing or beat making, or was it straight emceeing that caught your attention?
MCing definitely caught my attention, but I do dabble in making beats. Like I'll sample and chop some stuff up in Fruity Loops. You know,
Oh, nice.
yeah, yeah. But my voice is my gift, so that's where I lean towards. Like I don't. At one point I was the type of artist that tried to do everything myself, but there's
Yeah.
greater power in networking, which is why I'm pretty big on that right now.
Ah, super awesome, man. Hey, let's go into some of the music that you've done, man. And I had a good time going into your catalog. And
Thank
first
you.
thing I want to do was one of your most recent releases was the Diamond Beach EP with
Mhm,
Leisure B and Julian Winter. I think one of
mhm.
them is from the Netherlands, and the other guy's from somewhere in Europe. I'm not sure exactly where,
He's
but
from Germany.
uh, okay, that's what I thought, man. And so, yep, and you got that song on there, really nice, Black Sands too. And so,
hmm
guess they want to meet Danger, man. Tell me about that song and how that project came to fruition.
So Leisure B, that's what we'll call him. He reached out to me through TikTok.
Oh,
He,
crazy.
he was just like, "Yo, would you do a song with me?" And I was like, "I don't know," because people always hit you up online like, "Oh, I want a verse, I want to do this, I want to do that." So most of them I just ignore, or I'll just give them a number that's so offensive they'll leave me alone for the feature price. Because then you
Uh-huh.
can weed out who's serious and who's not. You know what I mean?
Good point.
Um, so he was like, "I rap, but I don't know if I sound good." And I was like, "Well, let me hear what you got."
Yeah.
He's like, "No, no, I'm really bad." So he sends me something. I was like, "Nah, you good? Like, keep going." He's like, "Thank you. Coming from you, that means a lot." Then like a
Yeah.
month later, he was like, "You mind if we do a song together?" And I was like, "Let me hear what it is." And
Yeah.
he sent me like a batch of beats. And I and when I hear their sound, to me it's sort of like Herbie Hancock meets like Roy Ayers or something like that. Like it has a like a funky type of electric vibe to it, but it's sort of like jazzy and trippy.
Yeah.
So he sent me a bunch of beats like that, and a lot of my songs are just reflective on where I am in life, and
Yeah.
that's how the song came about.
Yeah, and hey, that's a great point, man. You mentioned in the song that hey, I go against the grain. I ain't worried about safety, and even the hook used to be about the bag. Now it's about to mix life changing seconds. So how you gonna live?
How
And
you
so
gonna
I
live?
thought, man, that was just man, motivational, man. I felt like writing after that.
Thank you. Hey, that you know what? But that's the goal of what I do. Like I want people to feel as if like, yo, you know what? Now I want to write. Or I want to make a beat. Or I want to because that's how I was inspired to start doing it, right? It's like you
uh,
fall in love so much with the art, like you just want to contribute towards it. And it's my goal to keep planting seeds so that the art can continue to grow.
Yeah, and it's amazing too. Is just I love international collaborations, man. So is it wild to think that you're working with cats out of Germany and the Netherlands, and just your music hit people that far across the world? It's got to be
Um,
crazy to think, huh?
Not really, because I would say that my following has been international out the gate.
Ah,
Like I have a
okay,
pretty substantial following in Brazil,
nice.
in Nigeria, um, Philippines.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And then it would be the U.S., in which I'm totally fine with that. Like
that's
it's all
cool.
about touching people where you can touch them. And if
Yeah,
I can touch people directly in my neighborhood, that's cool. But if the people in my neighborhood don't dig it and someone else on the other side of the globe digs it, then I'm gonna say no. Like, nah,
yeah.
let's get it going.
That's great, man. Yeah, and just more and more I got into your catalog. Some other tracks that I really enjoyed was a song that you did with Young Midi, Dark Skies, and that was last
Yeah.
month.
Yep.
Yeah,
So my
well,
wife,
let's just start
my
with
wife
that
was
track.
confused about. She was confused by that song. She was like, "Why are you talking so aggressive?" I said,
Uh-huh.
"I'm not talking aggressive. I'm talking about people who are disturbing my peace. That's what the song is about. You know what I'm saying?"
Okay.
So it's sort of like when people say dumb shit to me,
Okay.
and my response is like, "Well, who the fuck is you talking to? I'm about my peace. I'm surrounded by love. The fuck is you talking
Yeah.
to?" And she goes, "Oh, I didn't think about it like that." But that's what I'm saying. Like when people they just try to disturb your peace, and I'm just like, "Yo, take it easy, because we're not on that wave over here. We're about peace and love."
Yeah. Hey, that's yeah. And you know what? That's funny, man. And the lyrics I love, man. Like you mentioned, I'm in my piece, surrounded by love, run in your mouth. The pain is the same. Doing the work, you look like a jerk. You never do nothing. Misery in you. Who to defend you? Fuck is you talking, man? I just,
Yeah,
man, that message is great. And I'm glad you explained it, man. But again, man, I'm a lyrical dude, and I enjoy good
thank you.
lyrics. And I thought this song too was super hot, all in the struggle, looking for trouble, stand up to something, attracting the coin, of bending the boy you hating for nothing. And I'm glad you gave me some background on it. I did think it was an aggressive song, but I thought it was a message you were trying to send to somebody. So it's good that you validated that.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, yeah. Young Midi is a producer from New York too. Where's he from?
I want to say he's Midwest, and I met him through the same circle of Squad of Nights where I met Dom at.
Ah, yeah, yeah. You mentioned. I thought that was pretty cool, man. That little
Yeah.
network you guys got going on.
Hmm. Yep.
That's right.
Yep.
Hey, so yeah, well, hey, man, you brought it up. Let's talk about it, man. Don Brady, man. Don Brady is a West Coast producer out of California, and y'all got a number of tracks together, which I really
Yeah.
enjoyed. And so, how was that connection made? Was it through Squadron of Nights? And how did
It
you
was.
guys talk about making music? How did that go down?
Um, we were in Squad of Nights, or are in Squad of Nights, and Ilman, the producer that put it together, used to have a Twitch channel, and he would go live during the pandemic and just show his beat making process. And at the end of it, he would listen to other producers' beats, and he would encourage, people in the squad just to talk in the chat while he was on Twitch.
Oh wow.
And I would always be leaving comments on the Twitch so people see a name, and I'd be gifting and all that stuff. And Dom would be in there, RJC, like a bunch of people be leaving comments. And Dom actually reached out to me, was like, "Yo, Are you interested in working on some stuff? And I'm like, yo, I write every day. So yeah. So he had sent me some beats in the first batch. I was like, nah, I'm not really digging that.
Okay.
And then he sent me another batch of beats. And I think one of the first records we did was Winning. He actually posted the beat, part of it, on Instagram like one Saturday morning. And I hit him. I was like, yo, whose beat is that? He was like, he was like, you want it? I was like, yeah. So I wrote it. I did the harmony for the hook, and that's when he got Anne Marie to lay her
Yeah.
vocals on top of it for Winning. And we created that formula works for us. So then we did Shining, we did Winning, we did Shining, we did Family First, we did
Better
Better Days,
days.
we
Yep.
got It's Different, we have, jeez, probably have three other ones that we haven't released yet.
Ooh, man.
And I know that he's cooking up his own project that, whenever he's ready for me, he know my pen is ready. So
Yeah. Hey,
yeah.
and so yeah, I wanted to talk about some of those songs. So it's different. You released with Dom back in February, and then y'all even
Yep.
did a Christmas time song
Yep.
last year. So I just love the sound that you guys make together. He's very West Coast influenced, so I love the blend between the different coasts, man. East
Mhm.
and East and
Mhm.
West, man. Y'all make some dope music together.
Thank you.
Uh,
Thank you.
Family First was one of my favorites that you guys did together. The hook for Family
Thank you.
First, how you gonna lose when you putting in the work, make a little stash, stop digging in the purse, watch how you move on anybody's turf, stand on your word and keep your family first, man. That's a great song, man.
Thank you. Yeah, it's just like some people get so amazed when they come into money that they forget to save for a rainy day. And in my mindset, it's just like, yo, just stash, like hold on to something. Like don't just go
Yeah,
through it because you have it. And sometimes we have the habit of going to places and we get too comfortable and we don't pay attention to our surroundings. So I'm saying like just be aware of where you are,
yeah,
and keep your family first. And I always specify like family isn't family by blood because not all blood is good blood.
yeah. That's true. Yeah, and so hey, with Dom, what's the song making process like? Does he give you the just the bass and the beat, and then you rhyme over it? And because he always like I did one song with him, and he's really good at adding different layers as the song goes on, and
Yeah.
so what's that like?
So like with the Christmas time record we did, I was just like, yo, Dom, let's do a Christmas record. And he was like, Run DMC? I was like, yeah, like Christmas time in Hollis, Queens.
Yeah.
So he's like, all right. So then I think I sent him some reference tracks. Yeah, yeah, I did. And then he sent me some reference tracks. So we just bounced some different Christmas songs. And then he'll always start with like a very basic, like drum and bass.
Right.
Like that's what he starts with. And my rhymes will just be usually, I usually just rhyme straight through like everything.
Yeah.
And then he'll just, he'll just sprinkle that flavor. Like when he gives it back to you, it's like you said,
Yeah.
it's so many layers to it. Like he starts out with like I would like to say like a chicken broth, and then when you come back, you got beef stew by the time you're done.
That's
Yeah,
a good surprise. Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Hey, well, what
yeah.
was it like working with Anne Marie too? So Anne Marie, she's part of a famous group called One
One,
Voice out in
yeah,
Cali.
yeah,
Yeah, and so what was that process like? Were your verses done and then you sent it to her, or did you guys build
yeah.
together?
Most of the time is done, and I love working with her and Dom. Um, she just adds that soulful element
Yeah,
to the tracks that makes it sound alive.
yeah,
Like I sang It's Christmas time. They just took mine as the reference and they resung it, and it sounds amazing.
yeah,
And that's just, and it's just, I've been fortunate to attract good energy. And like her energy is just so good. Like she's just
yeah.
such a beautiful spirit. You know what I'm
Oh, that's
saying?
awesome.
And actually, I have her rapping on one of my songs.
I
Yeah,
didn't know
yeah,
she
yeah, yeah.
rapped.
She
Oh,
didn't know.
dang.
Listen, she didn't know she rapped either until I pinned it for her and I was like, just say it like the reference track. and it's actually off of my mixtape that's called A Tribe Called Danger. I
Oh,
still have it sitting in the stash. It's where
oh man.
we're rapping back and forth. So it's like a girl and a guy
Oh,
conversation. Yeah, 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 yeah. She get busy. She get busy. She
I
get busy.
cannot wait, man. You
Yeah,
got her
yeah,
out of
yeah.
her element. That's cool.
Absolutely, absolutely. Like that's what I like to try and do when I work with people. It's cool to know your space, but I like to try and nudge people like how uncomfortable can you be with being uncomfortable?
I love it, man. Push
Yeah,
that envelope. Hey, you guys have a lot of songs together, man. And so Better Days was another one that you guys did
yeah,
that I really enjoyed. That hook,
yeah,
sometimes got to go through the fire, sometimes got to feel the pain. Lord
yeah.
knows you want a little sunshine. Man, I that just man, you guys do make good music. And I like emotional songs, man. And I think you guys are very good at getting that emo feel out of people in the audience in general.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's just again reflective of what I've been going through in life and losing my mom, and that song was talking about how we grew up. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
the relationship that my mom and dad had with my dad and my sister. It's just very reflective and being vulnerable. I mean, my
Hmm.
cool spot is just talking shit, like freestyling, right? But if I'm
Right.
putting a song together, like I want people to feel something. So that's
Okay.
those songs are uncomfortable for me to talk about,
Yeah.
but I know that those are the things that touch people.
Yeah. Yeah. And so, man, I just really enjoyed your catalog and I look forward to the next projects. And I really
Thank you.
enjoyed Mac version 2. Also, it's from a
Oh,
couple
okay.
years ago, too.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
that,
yeah,
that
yeah.
was a cool album, man, as well. And so, yeah, what was going through your mind when you put that together? And where does the name, the Mac V2, come from, man?
Yep. So I had a podcast that was called Motivation and Confidence,
Oh, okay.
right?
Yep.
And the acronym is MAC, right? Motivation and
Yep.
Confidence. So I had an ebook to go with that, and that ebook talks about the 7 steps to starting your business.
Okay.
So I had that, and it was very, I want to say conceptually, it was a little bit too preachy, right? The first one, the first version that I did. So when I did Mac V2, I said, nah, I gotta like make it more approachable. So I just added more personality to it and not just like trying to teach you something, right?
Yeah.
So that's where Mac Motivation and Confidence Volume 2 came from. And it's
I
also
see.
a book that goes with that Motivation and Confidence Volume 2,
Oh,
which is called Building Up Your Confidence. And it talks about me growing up being bullied and how I use that to fuel my confidence and how I dress and how I approach things in life. And
sure.
it serves as a guide for young men who struggle with confidence.
Wow. Yeah, hey, that was really good listen, man. And so,
Thank
yeah,
you.
again, you're very just good at drawing life experiences and rapping about it, and then having people connect with it, man. So that's what I really enjoy about your writing.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, and I can't wait for all the next projects that you got coming out. And so with that, you've been rhyming for quite a long time. What motivates
Yep.
you to still do music? How do you find inspiration?
Um, I don't find inspiration, not to sound weird. I'm very disciplined, right? So every day for an hour, at least Monday through Friday, 7:30 to 8:30 p.m. I write. It
Oh
doesn't
man,
matter if I feel like writing. It doesn't matter if I have an idea. I write. If I don't write, I'll freestyle. If I don't freestyle, I will mumble. But I will get the elements of something down out of that process to where even if I try to stop,
that's
I
great.
won't stop. It's just there. And then in that week, by the end of the week, I'll always have something. I will always have something. And it's
Okay.
just it always touches that kid in me, right?
Yeah.
Rhyming touches the kid in me. And I think that that's a part of me that I would never let die as long
Oh,
as I could have that kid, you know?
I love it, man. Hey, do you like to write with the beat or without?
Both.
Okay. Depends, I
Um,
guess, huh?
yeah, most of the time I'm inspired by a beat. It's like if I hear a beat, then I'll think of a bar and I may do a voice note to my phone or I may text it to myself. And then other times I'll just hear a beat. Like if Dom sends me a beat, like I'll just sit with it for like,
Yeah.
I don't know, 5, 10 minutes, and I'll just knock it out. Like when he sent me Better Days, he was like, "Yo, I think I got something for you," and we were actually on a Zoom call, and he played it for like 5 seconds. I said, "Cool, I got it." He's like, "You didn't listen to it." I was like, "Dom, I got it."
Uh-huh.
So he started playing it again, and I just started freestyling. And he's like, "Yo, like, how did you even come up with that?" It's just certain sounds, like you just it says something, like it speaks to you, and when you feel it like that, you just tap into that creative energy, and you let the energy do what it's supposed to do. Like I don't try to force the process. When it comes to me, it comes to me.
Yeah. It's oh, that's great, man. Yeah, I don't know. And you mentioned too, like freestyle. Have you ever freestyled a song, like where you record it, in pieces and stuff? Because
Yeah. So most of the time, my writing process, the I always talk about writing 16 bars, but I usually only write 14, and the last four are usually freestyle. Always,
oh man, dang, that's wild, man.
always. And the reason
Yeah.
why, what I've learned, as we continue learning, is sort of like if when you're just writing it and you're reading it, the listener can hear certain ways in which you're reading it.
Okay.
But when you're freestyling it, it adds this dimension to it that it just flows, has better syncopation to it. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, there's different techniques you could use, but it's like when I did Better Days was like that hook was a full mumble, like it didn't have any words. So it's literally me just creating the harmony. So once I create the harmony of it, then I go back in and I fill in the words, and sometimes it don't sound like it's anything, and I'll refine it and I'll refine it and I'll refine it until it fits that harmony that I've created. So I'll do that with flows too.
Wow.
I'll come up with the flows first,
Okay.
and I'm like, okay, this, and then I'll fit the words into it that way.
Ah, that's dope, man. Oh, I love how people just operate differently, man. That's cool.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, good, man. Well, hey, man. So, I mean, hey, you're a busy man. You work and you make music. And so, what do you like to do for fun outside of music? I saw that you just ran a half marathon not too long ago, and
Did a
that's a
half
major
marathon.
accomplishment in itself.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm actually training for an Ironman competition. Half Ironman is in September, so that's going to be, I think it's 2 mile swim, 60-mile bike ride, and 13-mile run, all on the same clip. So I'm
Yeah.
excited
Oh
about that.
man.
Yeah,
Yeah. Open water swim too, right?
open water swim. Yep.
Woo! Man, good luck, man.
Thank you.
Well,
Thank
yeah.
you. Thank you.
Was that your first half marathon, or was that no? That
Yep, that
pretty
was
routine.
that. That was no, that was my first half marathon. But I run frequently, like every week. I run all the time. So because I'm close
Okay.
to Central Park, so
Yeah.
Central Park is like my training ground.
Very cool,
Yeah,
man.
but outside of music, I like food, trying different foods and
Yeah.
checking out fashion and jewelry and all that stuff. Like I'm a huge foodie and fashion guy.
I love it, man. Hey, super, super cool, man. Well, it was definitely an honor to go through your catalog.
Thank you.
And
I appreciate you,
so,
man.
man, just a lot to listen and very exciting to see what happens in 2024. And
Thank
I
you.
usually like to end the interview with some fun, lighthearted questions. So,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
hey,
So
yeah. So let's do it, man. Let's see what kind of humor, what kind of sense of humor Tommy Danger has. What is your favorite comedy movie of all time?
my favorite comedy movie of all time would be, and I was just talking about this. It is with um, Steve Martin, where he was the con man. Um, hold on. It is my favorite movie. Steve Martin films. Oh man, it was whenever I watch that movie, like I literally my stomach, like I laugh so hard, like my stomach goes in knots. It's called Dirty Rotten Scoundrels
Oh yeah, yeah. I haven't seen that in a while. That's a
with
good one.
Michael Caine. Yeah. Oh my God, that movie to me is mm, funny.
Legendary. Hey, that's a good one, man. Hey, you mentioned you were a foodie. What is Tommy Danger's favorite meal type of food?
Oh man, Indian food.
Oh, okay. All right,
Yeah,
man.
I was just having Indian food. I was having aloo vindaloo yesterday, extra spicy potatoes with some chicken tikka masala
Oh man, that sounds good right about
and
now.
and some garlic naan. Like, yeah.
Oh, awesome, man. All right. Hey, if you could have any superhero power, what would it be and why?
If I could have any superhero power, it would be, huh, that's a good one. I think, I don't know, like I want to be the Now Later Man. The Now Later Man is like my superhero, right? Like, and I have a cape. I have my own cape made is that I wear. It has the Now Later Man on the back of it, and my superpower would just be the ability to fly. Like, who doesn't want to fly? Like, I want to be able to fly. So yeah.
Good answer, man. All right. Hey, if they did a movie about Tommy Danger, tell me which actor you would pick to play Tommy Danger.
The actor that would play Tommy Danger, um, off the top of my head, I would say Rotimi from Power.
Oh, okay. Awesome.
Yeah,
All
yeah,
right.
yeah. I think he could fit the dynamic elements of the good and evil that's within Tommy Danger.
I love it, man. All right. If you could have dinner with anyone in history, present or past, which two people would you pick?
I would want to have a dinner with my favorite author, Paulo Coelho, who wrote
Okay.
The Alchemist.
Oh,
You ever heard
nice.
of that book?
I have, man. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
my
yeah,
wife's
yeah.
favorite book. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's my favorite book of all time. I want to have dinner with him. That would be one, and then two, um, Bob Ross.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
Right? It's
Okay.
sort of like his ability to create so freely and with zero
Amazing.
effort was just, oh man, like if you I just want to have conversations with people to find out like what are you thinking, like it's like here's a little tree, here's a little indigo blue, right? And he's
Yeah.
just like with no effort, like you're just
Yeah.
making these amazing
Some art. Yeah.
paintings. Yeah, man. So yeah, I think between those two people I would definitely chop it up.
I love it, man. With that, man, as we get ready to close this interview, man, are there any special projects that you want to tell people about? I know you mentioned the Tribe Called Danger mixtape, but
Yeah.
anything else you want to give us a clue on?
Yeah, I got another mixtape coming out. It's called One in the Clip. I have a
Nice.
single coming out that's called PMP, which is Profit and Pressure, and I have another track coming out with Leisure B and Julian TBD, but it'll be this
Nice.
year. And I also just got in my email. I started working on with another producer by the name of Grimy Chops.
Okay.
It's gonna be called The Now or Later Man.
Oh, I can't wait for that one too, man. That's gonna
Yeah,
be
yeah,
good. I love the backstory.
yeah.
Hey, thank you again, man. It was an honor to go through your catalog. And just again, thank you for being just such an inspirational person in hip hop. And I love your story and everything that you're all about and just your mindset in general, man. We need more folks like you. And I
Thank
look
you,
forward to following your music even more. Are there any
thank you.
final words, man, before we close this amazing interview out?
I want to know what music you have coming out. So I see that you just dropped with Norkin for Life. So what else you got in the works?
Oh man, hey, I got probably I would say in the near future two projects. One is with a longtime friend, Digital Martyrs out. He's a producer out in California where I grew up, and we recorded an album. It's been done for a minute. We shot a video when I was back home last month, and so we just got to kind of come up with a plan on when that album will drop.
Okay,
And then there are two other guys that I did an album with. One by the name of Sankofa, and another guy by the name of John Doe. So we were going through the just the cleaning process of post production. So I
nice,
think that'll come out later on this year.
nice,
Aside from that, I'm always recording, writing, and I'm enjoying this podcast thing a little bit. So
nice.
got my energy in that. But yeah, I would say those are probably the two closest targets at the moment.
So if there's any way that I can support you in what you do, please don't hesitate to hit me up.
Yeah, likewise, man. That's why I had no hesitation in reaching out to you and trying to get you on this podcast. I love good people, man, and that was my impression. And you always got to wonder too, right? They always say like never meet your heroes, and then sometimes you meet them and they're terrible, man.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But I love that you, yeah, you disprove that, man. It's yeah, you're a
Thank
great
you.
person, man, and so you're good for hip hop, and I appreciate that.
Thank you, man. I appreciate you, bro.
Yes, all right, man. I look forward to getting this interview out.
Thank you. All right, talk to you soon.